My name is Lena Hart. I am 28, managing a fashion boutique in Los Angeles. And everything I am today was built from the pain my family once caused me. Looking back, those years feel like a nightmare, but they also made me stronger and shaped the person I have become. When I was 21, my sister Ava graduated from Stanford, and my parents humiliated me in front of hundreds of people. My father took the microphone and said they should have only had one daughter, calling me completely useless. The crowd laughed, my sister laughed, and I stood there in silence before walking out of the auditorium. That was the last time I spoke to my family, and for 7 years, I never contacted them again. From the outside, we looked like a typical American middle-class family with stable careers and a respectable life. My father was a senior executive in finance, and my mother owned a small but well-known art gallery. Ava was always the perfect daughter, excelling in school and leading every social circle she joined. She was top of her class every year and served as student body president, admired by everyone around her. I was the opposite, quiet and reserved, preferring to spend my time drawing rather than being noticed. My grades were good, but never enough for my parents, who constantly compared me to my sister. The difference between us showed in everything, from our rooms to the way we were treated at dinner. Ava had a bright, spacious room filled with designer clothes, while mine was small, dark, and outdated. At dinner, she sat beside my father, receiving praise, while I sat in silence, only criticized when spoken to. When we applied to college, she received a full scholarship to an Ivy League school without effort. I applied to the same school and was rejected, and my parents showed no concern for how I felt. They threw her a lavish celebration, spending generously, while I quietly chose a state university. I paid for my education through part-time jobs and student loans, learning to rely only on myself. Her graduation ceremony became the final breaking point that made me leave everything behind. After that day, I cut off all contact, blocked every number, and started my life completely alone. At first, I had nothing, working long hours in a small coffee shop just to survive each day. After work, I returned to a tiny apartment and kept drawing, holding on to my dream of entering fashion. I studied fashion at night, attended industry events, and slowly built connections and experience. Over time, I started publishing my work online, gaining recognition on small fashion platforms. 7 years later, I became the manager of a well-known fashion boutique in Los Angeles. I built a stable life, a social circle, and a future that belonged entirely to me. Then one day, an unknown number called, and my mother's trembling voice broke my peace. She told me that my sister was in trouble and begged me to come back home. After graduation, Ava entered a top company but collapsed under intense work pressure. A car accident injured her back, and she was prescribed painkillers that led to dependency. When the pain faded, she could not stop taking them and eventually fell into addiction. She lost her job and her life spiraled downward, trapped in substance abuse. Hearing this, I felt torn between resentment and the reality that she was still my sister. After speaking with my therapist, I decided to face the past and return home. When I walked into that house, again, everything felt familiar yet completely distant. My parents looked older, exhausted, and filled with anxiety I had never seen before. I went straight to Ava's room and knocked, hearing a weak and angry voice from inside. When she opened the door, I barely recognized her frail body and exhausted face. The room was a mess, and the sister I once knew was almost gone. She broke down crying, apologizing for everything and admitting the pressure she had lived under. She said my disappearance had haunted her and that she had tried to reach me many times, but our parents had changed my contact information, preventing her messages from ever reaching me. That truth filled me with anger, and I confronted my parents, who had no defense left. I decided to help Ava and arranged for her to enter a professional rehabilitation center. I demanded that my parents cover all costs and stay out of her treatment completely. On the way there, we talked about fear, failure, and what it meant to start over. She was afraid of disappointing our parents again, but I told her we needed to live for ourselves. During her 3 months of treatment, we attended family therapy sessions through video calls. She slowly recovered, gaining weight, and the light returned to her eyes. After leaving the center, she moved into a recovery apartment and began rebuilding her life. She found a simple job and started studying psychology at a local community college. I returned to Los Angeles and continued living the life I had built for myself. Our parents occasionally tried to contact me, but I chose not to respond. My relationship with Ava slowly healed, and we began meeting regularly again. We shared meals, conversations, and a connection that no longer involved our parents. I learned that healing does not mean reconciliation, and boundaries are a form of protection. I helped my sister because she was also a victim, but I owed nothing to our parents. In the end, I proved my strength and learned how to love and be loved on my own terms.